you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. It hits hard, doesn't it? Yeah. It's ridiculous. Oh my days. That's a door. Oh man, like where are we gonna go over here? Oh. Progress cameraman. I mean, no, I don't want to cut the most stereotypical. Can we call it a promo? I think we call it a promo. Listen, man, I tell you a story, and it's not a bad story. It's a good story. When I first started wrestling, loads of people said to me, "You never get booked to Progress or companies like that because you're a YouTuber," and it was fine. That was fine. But I'm a tenacious son of a bitch. Probably shouldn't say that on an interview, but I've said it now. I apologise to my mother. Still remember your manners even in these good moments. But it's an incredible thing about hard work and tenacity. It doesn't mean you deserve anything. It doesn't mean you get any rewards. When you do put in the work and you do put in the effort, and you can prove people wrong and walk out with a title from Progress, the Proteus Championship that Paul Robinson held on for 5 years, not through fluke, again through hard work and dedication. It does something to you, man. And again, without wanting to be the most corny person ever, to get that kind of response and people to be that in your corner and that supportive and that loud. Two things. Firstly, I don't take this for granted. It's just the beginning. Again, it's like we're writing a storybook. But number two, I appreciate you all very, very much. And if you have a dream, you can say, "Millie, you're such an idiot." I am an idiot, I'm aware of this. But if you have a dream, go for it. And why? Because even some idiot slaps his head can walk away with God. I'm going that way now. That's the way to the showers. And I'm in a lot of pain.
That's right, my friends. We got to the end of the week and I decided this was the best day to talk about the fact we're just going to put it on like the absolute nerd and geek that I am. Not like I haven't been doing this all week, because hopefully my voice still gets picked up by the microphone. I am. I still find it funny. The Progress Wrestling Proteus champions, of course, eventually. As we have done before, we're always going to sit down. We're going to break down my matches. I'm going to talk to you about my feelings. We can just have a good old geeky, nerdy time. Now, first and foremost, yes, the very first clip that you saw was shot, as you could probably work out, as I did walk through the curtain, which is pretty cool because, again, because I'm like an absolute loser, you've seen that happen before in sort of other companies. So it's nice to kind of been a part of it. But that tale that I did tell was 100% true, and I genuinely meant it. Well, everything I said there was completely honest.
Paul Robinson, when he won the title on the 15th of September 2019.
Wow.
He stood up and he said...
When I started wrestling and there was a lot of, "I don't want to work with the YouTuber, the stupid YouTuber," I was like, that's fine, that's okay. I suppose maybe because I've been doing YouTube for so long, I had a pretty thick skin and I knew what I wanted to do and I am quite tenacious. So I thought, well, I'm just going to see this through to the end, and wherever it ends up is wherever it ends up. Now, that doesn't say that my rational side of my brain doesn't kick in, and you're like, but that means if you're an electrician or if you're a vet or a teacher or a lawyer or a garbage man or whatever it may be, you can't be a wrestler because you have another job. Again, I said this on the Positive Wrestling podcast this week. Make sure you check it out on the YouTube channel, on all apps that you would expect. The WWF in the mid-90s and early 90s would have been totally screwed because everybody had a secondary job. But listen, that's just politics. That's just life. You get it in any kind of an industry. And I love the fact that, you know, I have both of them. I mean, the thing I've always been told about pro wrestling is make sure you bring something new to the table. And I like to think because I both review wrestling, commentate on wrestling, talk about wrestling, whatever it may be. And then I decided to get into it. Not only does that benefit me from an in-ring point of view, but it benefits me from a talking about it point of view, because while I have no idea what I am talking about, at least I can tell you, well, I do wrestle, so I do have that very unique perspective.
Throws a chop. I don't think I've ever seen Miller throw a chop before.
Never seen him this angry before.
But he's digging deep. He realizes that it's now or never.
I mean, getting into Progress, for starters, was awesome, right? If you don't know, it's one of the biggest, if not the biggest promotion in the UK. So even to get my foot in the door was like, that's like cool. And if you don't know as well, I started off as the MC, the host, because that's what Progress has. You kind of do a little bit at the start and you do a little bit in between each match just to give the audience some kind of a context if they don't have it. And then, you know, that transitioned into me being surprised. I'm not the MC today. I was dressed as an elf. We've done a video on this. You should go and watch it. I'll try and remember to put a card on the screen. And I speared Tate Mayfair when he was having a surprise opponent. I love wrestling. It's absolutely the best. And, you know, that then transitioned into me being where we were last Sunday, which was a very interesting scenario as well, because Paul Robinson, who has held the Proteus title for the last 5 years, by the way, which is nuts, and I guess this is one of the reasons what maybe it benefits me to hold that championship, is because the owner or the holder decides the stipulation. So his stipulation was always tap out or knockout. So to beat him, I had to tap him out, or to beat him, I had to knock him out. And in terms of actually putting that match together, it was super duper interesting, because Robbo, as he's called, character is, you know, he has this way about him where you honestly think he's going to kill you, right? He's been able to project that, whereas I am an idiot. That's the thing. Although I have listened to some podcasts that people have sent my way saying, oh, Simon, they reviewed your match. And look, I don't care what anyone says about that kind of stuff. Please, have at it. It's my day-to-day job, right? I can't expect to be in the public eye and not want criticism, but expect criticism. You have to be able to take criticism. It's so damn important, so please go nuts. The only one that did get me is someone said, oh man, Simon Miller can't cut a gritty babyface promo. It's like, damn it, go watch my tape feud. That was all gritty promos, which is why I'm trying to change it up now. I'm trying to offer something different. But
Oh, here we go.
Oh, stomp to the back of the head.
And there's more.
Hold on, Miller, hold on.
I totally understand. It actually played into the psychology of the match because, again, it's not my wrestling persona, whatever you want to call it, which is very similar to who I am in real life, that I would go in there and be a knockout artist. So to try and come up with something and to try and craft something where, well, it worked in our favor, right? Because nobody thought I was going to win. Man, I didn't even think I was going to win. And that kind of made for a very interesting ending to the match. And of course, before I go on, you can go watch this on Triller or on Demand Progress. Again, just search for Chapter 172 in Progress, The Werewolves of London, and you will find it. You can find the match. I think it's number 6 out of 8, but the whole show is brilliant. The main event especially is absolutely phenomenal. When it did happen, you had the fact that the belt hadn't changed hands for 5 years. And you had the fact that people were like, wait a minute, Simon would have won a title in Progress, which I don't think anybody expected. And you had, wait a minute, Simon knocked somebody out. So you kind of had this trifecta of magic, is the only word I can come up with. And because it's done on the whole, the hand drops and the ref goes, oh, he's knocked out, ring the bell. When Chris Hatch, shout out to Chris Hatch as well, the ref did that, there was this sort of 2 to 3 seconds of silence where the people in the ballroom, the venue that it was held in, were like, did that happen? This is exaggeration, but it's the only thing I could compare it to, because again, we always do this as fans. It was a bit like when Brock Lesnar beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania 30. There was just this moment of, that didn't just happen. And then I guess this is the thing that we should talk about the most, and hopefully I've just put a clip in there so you would have been able to have seen it.
And new Proteus champion.
Oh my goodness!
You love to see it.
But again, it actually went on for a lot longer than that. So again, please do check it out if you can. And that supports me too. You know, if all of a sudden people buy the show, again, it's sort of more power in my corner, for lack of a better word. I never thought that anybody cared that much about me being a wrestler, to the point when I won what is, you know, kind of, I think it's a major championship in the UK scene for sure. I certainly saw it that way, which is why it meant so much to me. For everyone to react like that and everyone to say such nice words, not only on the night, but the people in Progress themselves and the people on the internet after I obviously tweeted out the picture and Instagrammed it. Why the hell wouldn't I do that? Simon316, cheap plug. I mean, there genuinely was, I mean, at the time, completely numb. My brain was just like, we're checking out, bro, because I don't really understand what's going on right now. But then to, you know, certain people got in touch with me as well. And a lot of people said how proud they were of you. And when you know that's coming from a good place, hence why I'm wearing the t-shirt, prowrestlingtees.com/Simon Miller, it does hit you right in the tum-tum. And around about 24 hours later, when I sort of got back home and I watched the match back, all of a sudden, all that adrenaline and all that emotion did hit me. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, this is the thing, right? And I don't care what anybody else says about it. I don't care if anyone goes, oh man, you're such a mark, which has happened a lot, but I am a mark. I don't like that term just because it's a derogatory term in terms of where it was born. But of course I flipping love wrestling, and I'm going to use the word again. I never want the magic to die, and thankfully I've managed to be able to get to where I am now without doing that, even though wrestling is essentially thrown up on it.
Simon is feeling it. He ate those curb stomps.
Picks him up, looking for that, the ups and downs. Oh no. Cole caught him in a sleeper.
So again, to win a championship in a promotion that I massively respect and I was a fan of, and one, so those two words again, that I respect and massively a fan of, it just makes you go, you know what, thank goodness I took this crazy journey and I bet on myself, for lack of a better term, or believed in myself. I think that's a better way to put it. And, you know, I had my moment. Do you know what I mean? I had my moment, and even if for some awful reason I had to retire tomorrow, knowing that, again, I got to experience that, it's like nothing else. And I understand the people that are predominantly WWE fans or AEW fans or whatever. That's totally cool, by the way. I'm not saying you have to watch indie wrestling, but I find some of the reaction from that is always just like an indie promotion and stuff like that. But to me, and again, I say this just from my point of view, not saying in an insult at all, I just think that means you don't get it, because even if, I think there's about 600 people there in the ballroom, maybe 7, I don't know, I don't want to say a number, but it was a sizable amount of people. It's the reaction, and it's when people mean it. Somehow your brain and your body understands it. And the match itself was obviously super different as well, because I got my ass beat. Because again, this was Paul Robinson's wheelhouse. It wasn't my wheelhouse. So I still have a handprint on my back. Not kidding. I still have a handprint on my back. I see a physio a couple of times a week just to get things adjusted and snapped into place, because I think it's better to be preventative than it is reactionary. And she was like, why is there a handprint on your back, Simon? As someone slapped me really hard. Do you know what I mean? There was a lot of stuff that was laid in. When I was able to sort of come back towards the end of the match and sort of hit my moves, and people were getting behind me, and I was people doing the stupid chants that always put a smile on my face. Massively appreciate Sexy Simon. No one's ever called me sexy in my entire life, so I'll put that one in my pocket too. But I mean, I think the best way I can put it to you, again, we've broken down a lot of these matches, and I understand this video is a little bit different, but I was locked in, right? That's the only way I can think to phrase it. I was zoned in, and the clip that I make sure goes up now.
It's in progress. You got to question, is he questioning, should I have, superplex.
I think really puts a stamp on that, because I'm not saying that I zipped up there like a Shelton Benjamin or even an LA Knight or, somebody that's way more athletic than I am. But there have been times in the past where I haven't been so into the match. When I would have done that, I would have slipped, or something would have happened to my brain. It wouldn't have gone. I just went up there and we just went. Do you know what I mean? That's because I realized after the fact, I totally bought into the story, I bought into the character, I bought into the atmosphere, I bought into the finish. And when you do that and you're completely present, it's the best feeling in the world. It truly is, which is why, again, we go back to that post-match promo I cut, because I didn't know a camera was going to be there. I meant every single word. And before I do rant and rave and go on about it, it's also, I pointed at everyone and said this after the match, and I want to say it here too. I cannot thank everybody watching these videos and the people that come to all my matches enough, because we did do this together. And you'll have to roll your eyes and go, Simon, you're such a corny son of a ditch. And you're 100%, I'm a mother flubber. I'm all of these words, but I'm also super self-aware. And if it wasn't for people watching my videos, if it wasn't for people supporting the Ups and Downs series over on What Culture Wrestling, again, people were chanting up during that match, and they were giving Paul a down. You have to sort of put some stock into that. And without, like I say, people being invested for the last 8 years, I mean, I essentially started making wrestling videos in 2016. I mean, maybe that doesn't finally encourage me to see my training through to the end, because again, we've talked about that before. This was round number 3. I was like, no, this time I'm going to do it. And it certainly doesn't make a company as big a progress go, oh, we should do something with this guy and just see how it goes. Now, I understand there's more to it than that as well, and I have put in a lot of hard work, and I have sacrificed a lot too, but that's always the start. Again, I'm repeating myself. That doesn't mean you deserve anything. But when you do have people in your corner, it's almost like you're this miniature army, so it will always be in my heart. Just know that, especially because there's a few times where I still get messages now, you're still wrestling? I thought you retired. Which is very, very strange, because I do try and promote my stuff as best as I can. But, a lot of independent wrestling is, and this is not a bad thing, some of these are the most wonderful shows ever. You do go to, a social club on a Saturday night and you wrestle in front of 100 people. Look, it's great. I'm not being insulting to that at all. But there is this idea for some people, which is also totally cool, that it needs to be on somewhat of a big stage. Otherwise, it doesn't matter. But there's pros and cons to everything. There really is. But I just wanted to make this video because then, one, we do have a little bit of some content that I can come back to and watch, but also I get to share it with you. And I don't want to do it too much on the videos, although I am going to have that belt in most videos. I don't even care, man. Who knows if they're going to take it away from me. But this way as well, I can look at you right down the lens and just say that I massively do appreciate it, and I do not take it for granted. And again, to still be doing all the things I have been doing this long and still have a community that is mostly positive, it's pretty unheard of in 2024, especially in wrestling. So yeah, just thank you very much. And again, if you do want to go watch the match, even if you have some criticism for me, you can bring it to me, man. It's not a problem at all. It's the way that I kind of view my wrestling. Well, actually, no, I'm not going to talk about that, but some people have given me some great advice about my wrestling this year, and I'm certainly playing to my strengths and trying to hide my weaknesses. So I'm never going to be Will Ospreay, obviously, nobody is, but I'm also doing a very specific style now, and I think it just works for me. And that is obviously going to have a few people that have a certain style of wrestling they want to see, go, well, this isn't, what I wanted or whatever. That's fine. I just think a wrestling show has to offer you It should be a variety show, right? And I'm trying to be that kind of variety. But anyway, genuinely, thank you to everyone at Progress Wrestling for believing in me. Thank you to all of you. Thank you to Paul Robinson. Thank you to everyone that sent me nice messages and has given me something that I can take away forever. Because again, when I started in this, people were like, YouTuber. Well, the YouTuber is now champion, genuinely. I intend to lose it anytime soon. That doesn't work for me, brother. Now, of course, please do interact with the video as much as possible. Like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Click the video on the screen to hear me talk about probably Rhea Ripley's latest injury, which was very sad. And click that notification bell. Turn the notification bell on everywhere. Otherwise, if you are into fitness, brand new, I'm just going to tell people now because people keep asking me. January 2025, the brand new Simon Miller Fitness channel does begin. And it's all thanks to Gorilla Mind. Mostly it's gorillamind.com/Simon. Use the code Simon to get 10% off. I use these supplements right now. I have some stuff over there right now. The Gorilla Mind symbol is looking at me, and it's a shaker, all things. I wouldn't pimp these out to you, but I didn't think they were very good. They're super duper good. Otherwise, if you want to carry on your fitness journey, you can do with Anthony Agogo. I'm part of his Agogo fitness team. Go to his website and use code Simon20. You can also support me at patreon.com/Simon316, prowrestlingtees.com/Simon Miller. Come and tell me I'm an idiot. Simon316 on social media. Simon J. Miller on TikTok to join us for our live podcasts, and Simon Miller on Cameo for personalized video messages for birthdays, bar mitzvahs, Christmas, whatever it may be. Christenings, I can do it all. But one last thank you from me. I've had a tremendous week and I rode this adrenaline wave for like 3 days, but I haven't name dropped anyone here. So genuinely, thank you. You all know who you are. You know the people that have got my back, and I massively do appreciate it. But the journey starts now. Don't smash a table at the end of the video.